So I'm making this video because in boxing today, well, not just in boxing, but in this day and age, it seems like we like to say guilty before a crime has been committed. Now, I like Errol Spence. I once was a doubter of his skill, but he has continuously impressed me. Started with the Chris Algieri victory. Chris Algieri, I have the most profound. My first video I made was actually about Chris Algieri versus Errol Spence. And I was hoping that Chris Algieri give him the work, to be honest, because I like Chris Algieri. I like his style. But we all saw what happened, and I had no choice but to be impressed. And we saw again, he continues and he does what he does to Leonard Bundu. So there's no doubting that Errol Spence is definitely going to be a big problem in the welterweight division. But I'm getting a little bit tired of hearing these, hearing things like, oh, Keith Thurman, he's ducking Errol Spence, or Sean Porter ducking Errol Spence, Dan Garcia ducking Errol Spence. Ladies and gentlemen, understand something. A year ago, Errol Spence was just a prospect. He didn't fight any, former world champions, no contenders, nothing. He was just a prospect, okay? Errol Spence has just now arrived. You can't duck someone. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't duck someone that has just arrived. A while ago, Errol Spence was just a prospect. Now he is considered an elite fighter, a top tier opponent. Before, no one really knew who Errol Spence was. Now it's just this weekend he's become Mr. 6 million viewers. Okay, so let's put our foot on the brakes a little bit, just a little bit. All right, let's cool our jets. No one has ducked Errol Spence Jr. yet. Okay, I'll repeat that. No one has ducked Errol Spence Jr. yet. Not even Kell Brook. He hasn't ducked Errol Spence Jr. yet. All right. Errol Spence Jr. literally just fought for his IBF mandatory position this weekend. He wasn't an official mandatory until this weekend. Okay, he beat Leonard Bundu for the eliminator, and now it's official. It's done. Done deal. Now he's the mandatory for Kell Brook's IBF belt. Now, here's why I think is going to happen. I think that Kell Brook is going to end up ducking Errol Spence and vacate that belt. But, you can't say that Errol Spence... You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to... because the thing about the word duck is that it's starting to get used so much that it's starting to lose its meaning. You see what I'm saying? So I think we need to be a little bit more careful when we say the word duck. Okay? Because it's just getting so... It's getting a little bit out of hand. Errol Spence Jr. has not been ducked by any elite welterweight yet. That's a fact. No one has ducked him yet. Okay? No one has, it's like, I'm not, so it's like, what are you going to tell me? What are you going to tell me? You going to tell me that Errol Spence Jr. was ducked by Keith Thurman for Sean Porter? Are you fucking kidding me? Who would rather have seen an Errol Spence Jr. fight at the time that Keith Thurman fought Sean Porter? I'll tell you right now, there's a lot of fucking fights that I'd rather see Keith Thurman in well, maybe not a lot, but there's a few fights I'd rather see Keith Thurman in over Errol Spence Jr. Maybe not a few, probably just like one or two. Okay, but still, you see what I'm saying? Same with Dan Garcia. Here's the thing, right? If Keith Thurman decides that he wants to face, a soft touch in his next fight, and then face Dan Garcia, I don't mind that at all. That's not ducking. He just went to war with Sean Porter in his last fight. I don't mind soft touches I don't mind you having, if someone has a schedule where they have one tough opponent, then one soft touch, and one tough opponent, and an elite fighter every other opponent, that is perfectly fine in my stand, for me, because who the fuck fights killer after killer? I don't know anybody like that. Do you? Okay, same with Sean Porter. He's earned himself a soft touch. He just faced Keith Thurman earlier this year. I think he definitely deserves to face a lesser competition. I'm not saying some complete bum, but lesser competition. Okay, who's gonna actually sit here and say with a straight face that Sean Porter is a cherry pick? Are you kidding me? The man's fought Kell Brook. The man's fought Keith Thurman. The man's fought Adrian Broner. Sean Porter definitely deserves a break, a soft touch. That's fine. So if Keith Thurman decides that he's gonna maybe Keith Thurman holds the belt right now. If he decides he wants to maybe face his mandatory, and instead of an elite welterweight, you're gonna say that he's ducking Errol Spence? Is that what you guys are gonna say? You're fucking idiots. Same with Sean Porter. If he decided, not even if he Sean Porter's not even a title holder, but I don't mind Sean Porter taking a soft touch after what he went through with Keith Thurman this earlier this year. All right, and Dan Garcia, there's rumors about him facing Andre Berto. The man literally just came up to the weight class, only 2 fights in. 3 fights, in my opinion, is a good amount of a good number for someone to get accustomed to anything. I don't mind Dan Garcia taking one more soft touch in Andre Berto. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Just so long as he faces elite competition after that. Okay? No one has ducked Errol Spence Jr. yet. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. After Kell Brook faces Gennady Golovkin, don't get me wrong, no one wanted to see that fight. I did not want to see Kell Brook face Gennady Golovkin. Okay, I'm pretty sure most of you guys that are listening to this didn't want to see that fight either. But after that's the reality. He's going to be facing Gennady Golovkin, and after he faces Gennady Golovkin, are you seriously going to sit here and tell me that you expect Kell Brook to face Errol Spence Jr. after he does that? If Kell Brook decides, hey, you know what, Errol Spence, I'll face you, but let me take a soft touch first. I just went to 2 weight classes up to face this big ass monster. Give me a break. If he does that, does almost like an Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalev situation where they both agree to fight each other, but they want to take one fight in between or a couple fights in between, I have no problem with that. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I will not call Kell Brook a ducker if that's how it plays out. Okay, if Kell Brook negotiates some kind of a plan or faces Errol Spence Jr. after losing, I think he's going to lose to Gennady Golovkin, then there's no problem. There's no one's ducking him. There are no pussies at welterweight yet. At least the elite fighters. I guess I'm not really including the stars. I'm not including Manny Pacquiao. And even Jesse Vargas, I don't think he's about to face Manny Pacquiao. I don't know what Jesse Vargas' situation. I like him, but he's with Bob Arum, so I don't know. But as far as the elite welterweights that I mentioned, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, Dan Garcia, and even you can even throw Kell Brook in that mix. No one has ducked Errol Spence Jr. yet. Okay, that's the fact. All right, Errol Spence Jr. literally has just arrived. Let's calm down. Let's not give people these labels that are they aren't just. You see what I'm saying? And even so, there's a few fights I'd still rather see before I see Errol Spence versus not any of them. The fight I want to see at welterweight the most right now is Errol Spence versus Kell Brook. I'll be honest, that's the one I want to see right now because Kell Brook has not faced an elite competition, at least at welterweight, in a while, and he's only been facing mandatories. I want to see him, stay consistent with that, stay true to that, and face your mandatory in Errol Spence Jr. After that, I would love to see, the next fight I would like to see is Keith Thurman versus Dan Garcia. That's a good one. That's a unification bout. There's no one's ducked Errol Spence yet. Everybody calm down. Calm the fuck down. Calm the fuck down. That's pretty much the message of this video today, because I'm getting a little... We're using the word duck a little too much, in my opinion, okay? It's starting to lose its meaning. We need to start setting up some rules, have some consistency with that word. But outside of that, that's about it. Thank you guys, the casual fan here. I'm not an expert, but these are just my opinions, all right? Take it easy.